Hello and welcome back to Ganga Education. On this platform, you will find quality lectures relating to the field of law, competitive examination in legal domain, important legal facts and legal history, all explained in clear and structured manner. In today's video, we are going to discuss the syllabus of criminology for LLM.
Today, we are going to break down your criminology syllabus. But look, we're not just going to read a boring list of topics. No way. We're going to decode this thing and turn it into a clear roadmap that shows you the story behind the law. We're not just asking what crime is, we're digging into the much more interesting question, why it happens. Let's get into it. Okay, let's get this straight right from the start because this is probably the most important distinction you need to get. Criminal law, and you're going to be studying a lot of it, that's the what. It's the rule book, right? It lays out all the sections, the definitions, the punishments. But criminology, that's the why. It's like being a detective before the crime even happens, trying to figure out the root causes of why people do what they do. One is the rule book, the other is the backstory. So here's our game plan. We're just going to walk through the syllabus, module by module. We'll kick things off by defining what criminology even is. Then we'll jump into some historical theories. After that, we'll get into the modern causes of crime, tackle the super interesting topic of privileged deviance, and finally, see how the Indian legal system tries to handle all of it. Let's go. First up, let's just zoom out for a second. What is this subject really trying to teach you? What's the point of it all? What are you supposed to walk away with? Look, this course isn't about just memorizing a bunch of facts for an exam. The whole point is to turn you into a critical thinker. You're going to learn to see criminology as a proper science, you'll dissect all these different theories, and, this is really important, you'll understand the role of the victim. The real goal here is for you to see beyond just the black and white text of the law. You'll be able to analyze the messy, complicated reasons behind a crime, and think about the big picture, like what happens next with rehabilitation. All right, now for the really cool part. Let's dive into the theories. We're basically going to jump in a time machine to see how our ideas about what makes a person a criminal have changed over the years. And trust me, it's a pretty wild ride. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's fascinating. We started way back with pre-classical ideas, literally blaming demons and supernatural forces for crime. Then you get the classical school, saying, nope, it's all about free will and rational choice. But then, things start to get way more complex. You have thinkers looking at mitigating factors, at geography, and then boom, you get these huge shifts with theories pointing to a person's biology, the economy, and even the power structures in society as the real reasons for crime. It's a nonstop evolution of ideas. And this slide just perfectly captures two polar opposite ways of thinking. On one side, you've got Lombroso and his idea of the born criminal. It's almost like something out of a movie, the idea that you could literally identify a criminal just by looking at their physical features. Then, on the complete other end of the spectrum, you have the socialist school, which says, whoa, hold on, it's not the individual, it's the system. They argue that crime is basically a product of an unequal, class-based society. And that is the perfect lead-in to Module 2. Because now we're moving past the search for one single magic bullet reason for crime. The modern view, and what your syllabus really focuses on, is that it's never that simple. So here's the bottom line. Crime is messy. The multiple factor theory tells us it's this complex web where all these different things intersect. It could be social pressures, your environment, money problems, psychological struggles, even what you see in the media. For you as a future lawyer, getting your head around this complexity is absolutely crucial. It's what lets you build a real, nuanced argument and see the human being behind the case file. Exactly. So just when we think we're getting a handle on things, your syllabus throws this massive curveball. If crime is so often linked to things like poverty and disadvantage, then how do we explain the crimes committed by the richest, most powerful people in society? This question right here, it leads us into one of the most important parts of the whole course. And that brings us right to Module 3, the deviance of the privileged. This is where we shift our focus from crime on the streets to crime in the suites. Okay, so what does this fancy term actually mean? Put simply, we're talking about illegal and unethical stuff done by people who are supposed to be respectable, usually as part of their job. Think white-collar crime, corruption, professional misconduct. These are the crimes that often hide in plain sight, and believe me, they can cause way more damage than a simple theft. And this chart just lays it all out, clear as day. This isn't some abstract idea. It happens everywhere. When a lawyer breaks their client's trust, it shakes our faith in the whole justice system. When a doctor is negligent, like what the Lenton Commission report exposed, it destroys our trust in healthcare. The press council deals with unethical journalism that can mislead an entire nation. And when police are corrupt, the very foundation of law and order begins to crumble. Deviance absolutely wears a suit and tie. So we've seen the problem. How does our legal system actually fight back, especially against these powerful offenders? Well, that's what Module 4 is all about. It's about opening up the system's toolkit. So this isn't just one law, it's a whole strategy. You've got the Vigilance Commission acting as a watchdog, the Public Accounts Committee keeping an eye on government spending, the Ombudsman to handle public complaints, and commissions of inquiry to do these really deep dives when something major goes wrong. And tying it all together, you have the main legal weapon, the Prevention of Corruption Act. It's a multi-layered defense. So, there you have it. We've gone from ancient ideas about demons all the way to modern anti-corruption laws. Let's wrap this up and answer the most important question of all. Why does any of this matter for you? What this is saying is actually pretty simple, but it is so important. This syllabus is designed to give you a really deep understanding of why crime happens and how our justice system works. And that's not just some academic thing. Knowing the why is what will make you a truly effective lawyer when you're in a courtroom arguing the what. It gives you context, it gives you perspective, and frankly, it gives you a much better understanding of what justice is all about. And we're going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Think about it. Cybercrime, environmental crime, new kinds of financial fraud. The world is changing at lightning speed. As the future guardians of the law, maybe the biggest challenge you'll face is making sure that our definition of crime and our response to it doesn't get stuck in the past. Something to think about as you start this journey.
Thank you for watching this session. If you found this lecture useful, do like, share and subscribe to Ganga Education. Keep learning, keep growing and stay connected for more law lectures.